Your phone made over 10,000 API calls today. Every time you checked the weather, scrolled Instagram, or sent a UPI payment, an API was working behind the scenes. But here's the thing. Most people have no idea what an API actually is, and that's a problem. Because if you want to understand how modern software works, how AI applications function, or how to build anything meaningful in tech, APIs are the foundation of everything. So let me explain it in a way that will actually stick. Imagine you're sitting in a restaurant. You're hungry, the kitchen has food, but you can't just walk into the kitchen and start cooking. You need a waiter, someone who takes your order, communicates it to the kitchen, and brings back exactly what you asked for. An API is that waiter. API stands for Application Programming Interface. But forget the jargon. It's simply a messenger that lets two pieces of software talk to each other without knowing each other's complicated inner workings. You don't need to know how the kitchen operates. You just need to know how to order. Every API interaction has two parts, a request and a response. When you open Zomato and search for biryani places nearby, your app sends a request to Zomato's servers, essentially asking, hey, what restaurants serve biryani within 5 kilometers of this location? The server processes that request, searches its database, and sends back a response. A neat list of restaurants with ratings, prices, and delivery times. That entire back and forth happened through an API. You asked a question in a format the server understands, and it answered in a format your app can display beautifully. Here's what's wild. You're already an API power user. When Google Maps shows live traffic, it's pulling data through APIs. When you log into a new app using Sign In with Google, that's an API letting the app verify your identity without seeing your password. When Paytm checks your bank balance, API. When ChatGPT gives you an answer, API. Even when you check cricket scores on your phone, an API fetched that data from somewhere. APIs are invisible infrastructure, like plumbing in a building. You don't see it, but nothing works without it. Let's peek under the hood. When an app wants to use an API, it sends a request to a specific web address called an endpoint. Think of it like a specific counter at a government office, each handling different tasks. The request includes what action you want. Get means, give me data. Post means, here's new data to save. Put means, update this existing data. And delete means, well, delete. The server processes your request and sends back data, usually in a format called JSON, which is just a structured way of organizing information that both humans and computers can read. Along with the data, you get a status code. 200 means success. 404 means not found. 500 means the server broke. Simple as that. Now there are different types of APIs, but the one you'll encounter most is called a REST API. REST stands for Representational State Transfer. But honestly, don't memorize that. Just know that REST is a set of rules that makes APIs predictable and easy to use. It's like grammar for API communication. Because REST APIs follow standard conventions, once you learn how one works, you can figure out almost any other. It's why a developer in Bangalore can build an app that talks to a server in California without any confusion. REST made APIs universal. Here's why this matters for your AI journey. Every powerful AI tool you've heard of, ChatGPT, DALL-E, Google's Gemini, is accessible through APIs. This means you don't need a supercomputer or a PhD to use cutting-edge AI. You just need to know how to call their APIs. Want to build an app that generates images? Use DALL-E's API. Need to add a chatbot to your website? OpenAI's API. Want to transcribe audio automatically? Whisper API. The AI revolution isn't just about building models, it's about using APIs to access models that already exist. And that's something anyone can learn to do. So, where do you go from here? The best way to truly understand APIs is to use one. There are free, public APIs you can experiment with right now. Weather data, random jokes, even Pokemon information. In upcoming videos, we'll actually build something using a real API, step by step. But for now, I want you to remember this. APIs are just messengers. They let software talk to other software using simple rules. Request in, response out. Once that clicks, you've unlocked the ability to understand how almost every modern application works. And that's a superpower. Let's lock in what you learned today. First, an API is a messenger that lets two pieces of software communicate, like a waiter between you and the kitchen. Second, every API interaction is a request and a response, following predictable rules. Third, APIs are how you'll access powerful AI tools without building them yourself. They're your gateway to the AI revolution. Next up, watch our video on how to make your first API call, where we'll actually get our hands dirty with real code. If this video gave you that aha moment, subscribe to Sucreed Learn Hub so you don't miss the next one. And drop a comment below. What's one app you use daily that you now realize is definitely using APIs? I read every single comment. See you in the next one.